Hi and welcome to this video. In this one we are going to look at some questions based on grouping and conditionalities, one of the difficult areas when it comes to logical reasoning. We have a set which has 4 questions based on it. I am going to show you the set, the first 2 questions, then the next 2 questions. You can pause the video for about 5 minutes, take your time and solve it and then come back to the video.
If you like our content and want to experience the IMS pedagogy, you can join the IMS Zero Fee Prep programs that will give you access to concept videos, sectionals, full-length tests and more for free. You may click on the I button or on the link in the description box below to access the same. Happy learning!
So this is the set that we have. 8 persons A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. They are grouped in 3 teams X, Y and Z such that each team has at the most 3 people. A and E are never in the same team. E and C like to be in the same team. D, H and G are in 3 different teams. B is in team Z. So that's a very limited information that you have. These are the first 2 questions. Please make a note of this and then I'll show you the next 2 questions. So this is question 3 and 4 based on the set. I hope you have noted down question number 1 and 2. Take about 5 minutes now and then come back to the video. So this question, or rather this entire set, has only 3 conditions. If you look at the conditions given are A and E, they do not go together. E and C, they go together, and D, H and G are in different teams, right, or different groups. That is what the main 3 conditions are. Now when you are solving a set like this, you have to go question by question, because when you try to write down all the possibilities in the beginning itself, it will be a little overwhelming. So what you do is go to the question, and this was the first one, that if A is in team X, which of the following is definitely true. So what I have done is I have created 3 groups, 3 rows, X, Y and Z. In X I have put A now, because if A is in team X, we already know that Z, or rather group Z, has B in it, so that is going to be like a static feature for this entire set. Now what I need to look at is, if I have A in X and B in Z, how do I put the others? So when you have 8 people, right, and the condition that is given is that you can have maximum of 3 people in a group, I cannot go beyond 3, and that is why I have created 3 columns. So we can have a 3-3-2 kind of a combination, that there are 2 teams that have 3 members each, and there is one team or one group which has 2 members in it. Now let's look at this set. So X I have A and Z I have B. Now we know that A and E cannot go together, which means I will not be able to place E in group X, right? Now I need to have EC together. Now think about this for a minute. If I have EC together, can I place them in Y? Possible. If I have EC together, can I place them in Z? And let me show you what will happen if you do that. So if I place E and C together in group Z, I will not be able to take care of the third condition, that D, H and G are supposed to be in different teams, because I don't have place to put them, right? Where do I put D, H and G if I have B, E, C already in group Z? Which means I cannot place E here as well. So I cannot place E in X, I cannot place E in Z. The only place that is remaining has to be Y. So E has to be in group Y. The moment I put E, I'll also have to put C. Now the remaining, of course, we have multiple possibilities. You don't have to worry about those. You don't even have to write those. The question is, which of the following is definitely true? First one says F is in team Z. Now is there any condition on F? Not really. You can put F in Y, you can put F in Z. Second says C is in team Y, which is a definite truth, right? You cannot place C at any other group, which means this one is definitely true. And the third one says A and D are in the same team, which is not necessarily. You may have it, you may not have it, because you can place D in group Y, you can place D in group Z if you want to, because there is no condition on D. And that is why the only one which is definitely true is option 2. So we are going to go with option B, which says only 2 as the answer. So let's look at the second question now. If A and D are the only 2 people in team Y, then what? So firstly, we know the initial 3 conditions, A and E not together, E and C together, D, H and G are in different groups. Now what I have done is I have placed A and D in Y. So I have 2 people here And to ensure that we have total 8, fulfilling the condition that you can have maximum 3 in a team, the only possibility that can exist is if you have 3 in X and 3 in Z. Now what we need to understand is, similar to the previous question, if I put E and C in the group Z, it will create a conflict situation because I now cannot place D, H and G in 3 separate teams, and that is why E cannot go here. Now E cannot be in Y, E cannot be in Z, so the only place that remains for E is going to be X, and along with E you will have to place C, which means now you have 3 places remaining, okay? And understand who all are yet to be placed. You have F, you have H and you have G, right? These are the 3 people that you have to place. 2 of those will go in Z, 1 of them will go to X. Now keep in mind that H and G can't go together, okay? So because H and G are in different groups. So which means when you look at Z, right, one of them has to be F because you have 3 people that you need to place. H and G can't be the combination here. So one of these people have to be F. The other of course can be either H or it can be G. So let's look at the options now. First one says E is in team Z. Not necessarily, I mean of course it's wrong also because X, we have already put E in X. Second says F is in team Z, which is definitely correct. We don't really have to look at the rest of the options then. So that's the answer for this question, option B. Alright, let's look at the third one. So again I'm just going to write the conditions. So A and E cannot go together, E and C are together, and D, H and G, these are in different groups. Now the question says if A is in team X, so I have placed A in X, and F and G are in the same team. Okay, so now we have one more condition that we are supposed to use, that F and G are together. The question is which of the following teams can F and G be in? Okay, again thinking of the last 2 questions that we did, if you notice that E and C you cannot place with B because then it violates the third condition that we have, that D, H and G are supposed to be in different groups. So I cannot place E and C in Z, which means I have 2 possibilities. I can either put it in X or I put it in Y. But can I put EC in X? No, because it will violate the first condition that A and E are not supposed to be together. So then that leaves me with only one place, which is group Y. So now E and C are in group Y. The question is asking you which of the following teams can F and G be in. Okay. Now understand that F and G have, first of all, they have to go together. The only group where you can put it is X, where you can have these 2 places occupied by F and G, or you can put it in group Z because you cannot put it in Y, otherwise it will make it 4 members. The condition is you can have maximum 3 people. So you can put it in X or you can put it in Z, and that is what your answer is going to be. So this is going to be either team X or team Z, which is option D. So let's look at the last question now. If H is in team Y, then which of the following is definitely false? F is in team Z, A and F are in the same team, B and A are in different teams. So for this question we might have to write multiple cases. We'll see how it goes. Firstly, let's look at the conditions once again. A and E cannot be together, E and C have to be together, and D, G and H are in different teams, right? So that is something that we have. Now see, I have already placed H in Y because that's how the question begins. When we think of E and C, you would have noticed from the previous questions also, I cannot put them in Z, which means there are only 2 possibilities that I have then, is either I can put E and C here, right? So that's the one possibility that you can work with, or the other possibility is you can put them in Y. Now if I put E and C in X, right, I know that I cannot place A in X, which means I can place A in either Y or I can put it in Z, right, which means I have those possibilities, and wherever I place A, I can actually put F also along with it, right, because my only thing then remains is D, G and H. Just to write one case for you, I can place D here for example, right, we have already H here, and then we can have G here, right. Now I place G, the remaining 2 people are A and F. If you think of it, I can place A here and F here. So A and F in the same team is possible, right? So I've just written one of the cases. I decided to put D in X, I started with EC in X, and that is how I've written this case. But at the same time, you can also place EC in Y. So let's see if we can write another case. So here I'm going to erase this and I'm going to write another case wherein I will place E and C in Y. Now once I have done this, otherwise the remaining people are D and G that you need to place. So that I can either put here, right? So these are the possibilities for D and G. Now let's look at the first statement. It says F is in team Z. Let me try to put it out there. So if I put F here, right, is it a valid solution? Yes, because along with that I can place G, for example, and once I do that I'll have the remaining people that I can place in X. So this is also possible. I can actually put F in team Z and it will still give you a viable solution. B and A are in different teams. Again I can do that. For example, if I place A here, I have achieved that objective. So this is also possible. So for this question, which of the following is definitely false? Actually none of them. So the answer is going to be none of these. Hope you enjoyed this question on grouping. It was a tough one and I hope that you were able to solve at least 3 questions out of 4 in the 5 minutes that we had initially thought of. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.